And now we're recording. Okay, so let's do this. I didn't do this when I first talked about distributive property, but if I was going to teach this from scratch, if it was an Algebra 1 lesson and the kids had never heard of distributive property, this is exactly what I will do. You're welcome. All right, so watch this. What if we have A, then a parentheses, and a B plus C? Well, you remember order of operations, right? What do we always do first? We always do what's in the parentheses, okay? But can we add the stuff in the parentheses right now? No, because they're not what? Well, they're not just not numbers, because we could add things together that weren't numbers, but in this case we can't. Why not? Well, it's not because they're not coefficients, would you say? Because they're not like terms, okay? They're not like terms. This is a B and this is a C. I cannot add a B and a C together, right? So I can't combine them. Everybody got that? But I can multiply things that are not like terms. For instance, if I had X times Y, what is X times Y? It's just XY, all right? That's it. So you can multiply things that are not like terms. You just can't add and subtract things that are not like terms. Everybody got that? Okay. So what do we got to do? What's that A doing to that parentheses right there? It's multiplying, exactly right. There's no sign in between, so A is being multiplied. What's it being multiplied by? Just the B? Just the C? Both of them, exactly right. So what we're going to do is take that A, we're going to multiply it by the B, then we're going to take that A and multiply it by what? The C. So let's do that. So what's the first one going to be? What's A times B? AB. Now, I got to put a sign now. All right, so what is the sign? Plus. That's right, because you got a plus right here. But this is also positive. What's a positive times a positive? It's positive. Okay, so if this is positive, that's going to be positive. All right? A plus sign and positive is the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I've had kids tell me before, especially with negative signs, they're like, Mr. Hammer, you keep saying that that's a minus, but really it's a negative, or the other way around, I forget. I'm like, well, it's the same thing. Okay, minus and negative are the same thing. Same thing with positive. All right, what's this going to be? A what? AC. And that's it. That's all you can do. You can't add those together. They are not like terms. You can't add those together. That's your answer. Bang, you're done. That's pretty much, kind of. We're going to throw some numbers in there as well. But that's pretty much what this whole lesson is. It should be very simple. I had a couple students finish it in less than 10 minutes, all right, in the first class. So it's pretty easy. So I will do a couple more examples for you. We'll throw some negatives in there. They really don't get really, really difficult on this. I mean, they could, all right, believe me, there's problems in like Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 with distributive property, and it can get really complicated. But the ones we're doing right here are super basic. Let's do this one. This is taken right from the worksheet. I'll give you a second to do that. Go ahead and try that and see what you get, and then I'll show you how I do it. So everybody should be writing this down. You should be taking notes, first of all. Josiah, taking notes? There you go. What's that? I can't hear you. You're mumbling. You weren't looking? Right. That's not taking notes. Looking is not taking notes. You got to do both. You got to hear, you got to see, you got to do. All right? Those three things are going to help you learn. If all you do is hear, that's not enough. If all you do is see, it's not enough. You got to do as well. All right, so make sure. And you can't do unless you listen and you see. All right, anybody got an answer yet? We're going to take that negative 6. We're going to multiply it by the A. So what's negative 6 times A? It's just negative 6A. It's all you can do. All right, you can't really do anything with that. You just put them next to each other. Now I take that negative 6 and multiply it by a positive 8. So what's a negative 6 times a positive 8? It's going to be negative, what? 48, or minus 48. Now, I had a kid last period say, well, I did this. I put plus negative 48. Is that the same thing? Yeah, it is. That would be right. If it was on a quiz or a test, you did that, I would not mark it wrong. But I don't want you to write it like that. How do I want you to write it? Oops. I want you to write it like that. It's just a little more compact, a little less stuff, okay? Just looks neater, cleaner. That's the way you should write it. If you put plus negative 48, it's perfectly fine. Now, there's another way. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it on another problem. what I'm thinking. Let's do this. Here's one. It looks a little different, but it's kind of the same. And then they put times 2. Okay, they went back to using the dot for multiplication, but this time they put the 2 on the right-hand side of the parentheses. But it's still being multiplied. Can you simplify anything inside the parentheses? Always look to see that first. No, they're not like terms. That's just a number. It's a constant. This has an m with it. They're not like terms. You can't add them up. So what are you going to do? You're going to take that 2 and do what? Multiply it by, well, by everything. And again, it doesn't matter what order. If you, because somebody asked me this last period, and that's what I'm going to show you. And that's what Zion said. He said 2 times 10, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, it's not a problem at all if you go 2 times 10. But I'm going to go the first one, then the second one. Is that all right? So let's do 2 times the first one. So what's 2 times 9m? 18m. Plus 2 times, it's a positive 2, right? Positive 2 times positive 10 is positive, put the plus there, and 20. So that's perfectly fine. If you wanted to, you could do it by the closer one first. So go 2 times 10, which is 20, and then plus, because these are both positive, right? So 2 times 9m, which is 18m. Are these two answers the same? Absolutely. Because think of it. Is 2 plus 3 the same thing as 3 plus 2? Yeah, it's the same thing as we got right here. We haven't talked about it in here, but in algebra classes, they talk about it being the commutative property. You remember doing that stuff? Commutative property, associative property in Algebra 1. Usually like the first day or two, they talk about that stuff. But that's what that is. It doesn't matter what order. All right, let's do another one. Let's, here's a good one. Let's do that right here. Let's throw some negatives in here. I'll give you 30 seconds to work on that one. Shouldn't even take you that long, probably. You don't really need these arrows. I just do that to help you out at the beginning. But I'm going to do it one more time. This will be the last time I do the arrow thing. All right, so we go 8 times negative b minus 8 times 4. So what's 8 times negative b? What is it? Negative ab. Very good. Or 8, sorry. Negative 8b. All right, it's not 8 minus b. All right, I've had students try to do that before because what's happening? What is this 8 doing to this negative b? It's multiplying, okay? So it's not 8 minus b. It's 8 times negative b, right? Positive 8, negative b, positive times negative is negative. That's why you put the negative out in front, okay? What about this one? You got a minus this time, so what are we going to put here? Put a minus. That's a positive 8 times 4, which is 8 fours are 32. And it's minus. Okay, that's what you need to be aware of. And there it is. It's as simple as that. And to tell you the truth, they really don't get any more difficult than that through the whole entire worksheet. Let me just see if there's one that might be a little bit different. And let's do this one. It's kind of the same as what we did right there, except you got a negative out in front. So this will be the last one we do. So negative 5 times 7a minus 6. These are taken directly from the worksheet. Now here's something you might like. Do you have to show any work so far? Has there really been any work to show? No. I mean, you can put those arrows. That's not really work. Okay, but you just look at it. Do the multiplication, write it down. There's really no work to show. So can you just give me the homework with just answers on it? On this worksheet? Yeah, absolutely, because there's no work to show on this. If there's work to show, then you need to show your work, all right? And that's important, all right? That's, to me, that's more important than even getting the right answer to a certain extent, Now, on a quiz or a test, that's a different story, all right? It's absolutely important that you get the right answer on a quiz or a test, all right? But on a homework, I'm just grading on completion. I just want to see that you did the work, okay? That's a 6. Yeah, so it's negative 5, parentheses, 7a minus 6. Did you get the answer yet? All right, so I said I wasn't going to do the arrows again. So negative 5 times 7a, what's that? 35? Negative 35, right, that's very important. What if you didn't put the negative and it's a quiz? Is it right or wrong? It's wrong. It's completely wrong. Okay? People say, Mr. Hamrick, it's just a negative. Well, it's not just a negative. All right? It's a big difference. Big difference between a positive 5 or a positive 35 and a negative 35. All right? You might as well put the answer as 17. That's closer than negative 35 compared to positive 35. You know what I mean? All right. What do we got here? Now, this is the part, this is why I picked this problem, this next little thing right here. I've got a negative, you could think of it this way. You could think of this right here, that minus, drop the minus down, and it's a negative 5 times 6. What's negative 5 times 6? It's negative 30, right? So this negative right here is because of this one. You got that? This negative right here is because of this one. But what happens when you have two negatives next to each other? It's positive. Okay? So that's your answer. Now, I probably would not put the positive with that 30 if it was me. And if it was most people, they would write the answer like that. That's the nice, easy, clean-looking answer. Did you guys get that? All right. I don't think there's any reason to do any more because they're all pretty much like that. All right? Really not much different at all. Everybody good with this? Yeah, super easy, I think. Again, I gotta stop saying that because I've been accused by many students. Mr. Hamrick, you always say this is easy. It's really not that easy. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, I think that's good. Any questions? All right, so we're going to do worksheet 6. Give you the rest of time to work on it. Hopefully you should be able to finish it in class. And tomorrow we'll collect it, we'll go over it, and we're going to review. I'm not going to give you, when I say we review, all I do is just do some problems that are like the problems on the quiz. All right. I don't give you the exact same quiz problems. I don't know, maybe a couple of them might be exactly the same. I don't know. I haven't even made the quiz up, to tell you the truth, because this is the first year I'm doing this review. And so I'm going to make it up today sometime, probably after school. But you had a question? Okay. Everybody good? All right.